You're listening to the Health Powered Productivity Podcast by RaderCo. I'm Marcey Rader, founder and chief productivity lead. This podcast aims to give you and your team bite-sized, time-saving, focus-boosting, health-improving tips you can implement right away. Imagine you're being interviewed by a journalist for a story about a day in the life of you. Yes, you are that interesting and everyone has a story. The journalist asks you about your personal and work priorities for the next day. After you tell them, they set up a time to follow you from when you wake up until you go to bed. Yes, it can be a weird reality show visual, but let's go with it. Think about your day, what you do, who you talk to, how you behave, and all your habits. Think about your decisions on what to work on, when to check your email, and when to step away from your desk. Would that journalist say you're living in alignment with the priorities you gave them the day before, or would your actions tell a different story? In my TEDx video, The Relentless Pursuit of More, I talked about how many of my priorities didn't always align with the actions I chose to take. I said I prioritized my husband, but yet when I traveled all week for business, I still spent half of Saturday and Sunday training for triathlons and adventure races. I said I prioritized my health, yet I sacrificed too many hours of sleep to work, or I had bad habits that made my sleep low quality. I said I valued healthy eating, yet I used sugar as a food group at the expense of eating vegetables. I said I prioritized reports and monitoring patients, but spent most of my time switch tasking between emails and writing. I said I prioritized my relationships with my family, but I only went home twice a year. Here are some examples of my clients whose actions didn't align with their priorities. Jada said, family first, and missed several basketball games, including her son's winning free throw. She didn't always mean to miss them, but she would answer one more Teams message or do one more task and end up not getting out of the office on time. She agreed to meetings at the end of the day, which often ran over, and this is how she missed that game point. Brad said his health was a priority because he had prediabetes, and everyone in his family had developed diabetes. Yet that journalist never saw him exercise. He was sedentary at his desk all day and stopped by Chick-fil-A on the way home from work. Kai was newly married and prioritized climbing the ladder and taking on new initiatives at work. They wanted that promotion. And there's nothing wrong with that. They also wanted to work on their marriage. And when their partner was diagnosed with cancer, they said they would be there for them. But then they took up heading a new market launch and traveling over the next few months. They missed almost every chemotherapy appointment. And later, they said there would always be more launches. They could always be more visible at work, but their partner may not be there in a couple of years to cheer them on about it. All of these clients agreed that they chose the wrong priorities. This isn't a judgment call from me. I have made too many mistakes myself, saying one thing but then actioning another. Do you say you want to spend time with your kids, but you're scrolling news feeds or Instagram during their play dates, sports games, or after dinner? Do you say your health is important, but that journalist wouldn't be able to tell because of the items you drop in your shopping cart or that extra episode on Netflix that you must watch and lose sleep for? And remember, the CEO of Netflix said their biggest competition was sleep. So what is one thing today that you could show a journalist if they asked you what your priorities were? Do you walk your talk? And what is that one thing that you would be embarrassed that they write, that you actually aren't prioritizing, that could have a long-term relationship or health consequence? Even if your priority is work, are you just sitting in your inbox all day answering emails, or are you blocking deep work time to be creative, problem solve, strategize, or tackle that project? Whose agenda are you living by? One thing that we rolled out a couple years ago is the Powered Path program. And it's an online productivity course. It's about an hour long. And it comes with either a digital or physical playbook. And at the beginning of every year, every quarter, every month, every week, I have my top 3 personal priorities, my top 3 professional priorities. Not only do I review these continually because I'm in the playbook every day, but I have them on my whiteboard. And every quarter I go through and I say, what are my priorities this quarter, personal and professional? What are my priorities this month? What are my priorities this week? And I'm looking right now, and my monthly priorities, 2 of them, one is I got a new speaker reel, and to work on the marketing plan for that, to work on updating and refreshing MarceyRader.com, and to do the outline and 3 drafts of chapters for my next book that's coming out. Personally, to complete 4 items on my 50 by 50 list, to make sure I get quiet time of 5 minutes or more every day, and to play the tambourine for my husband. He is a professional drummer. When we use the term tambourine, it means we're their support. And so I see that every day, multiple times a day, when I'm looking at that whiteboard, I'm looking in the playbook. If I'm trying to decide what I want to do next, instead of just going to my inbox or opening up LinkedIn, I will look and see, can I do something towards those professional priorities? If my husband's album is launching, when I'm recording this, it will have already launched, but their album big launch party is Saturday. And my priority this week was to really play that tambourine for him and be supportive, do whatever he needs. I'm actually leaving today, leaving the house with my friend. We're going for a hike because it's actually going to be better for him to just be by himself and kind of get ready for it. So even if you are making those priorities, are you writing them down? Are you sharing them with other people? One thing that helps me be held accountable is that I do reflections every quarter with Lisa, our RaderCo concierge, my dear friend Wendy, and also my friend Lily. And we say, these were our priorities. This is what I wrote down. And then did we live those? And when they're not my journalists, but when I know that I'm going to be talking to them about that, it makes a difference. And I also do weekly meetings with my husband, and we have our own 90-day visions and priorities, and we'll go through those together as well. So let that journalist in the door. Invite them to walk your path alongside you. Feel confident that at the end of the day, what they write will make you proud and will be the true story of how you prioritize. Thank you for listening to the RaderCo Health Powered Productivity Podcast. The show notes link to any resources mentioned. If you found this podcast valuable, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone you know who could benefit. For more bite-sized tips, our top recommendations, and to learn more about working with myself and the RaderCo team, from consulting and coaching to speaking and more, visit helloraderco.com.